Oh, that was a fun game. And he was playing Hazy's. All right, so let's talk about this for a second, right? Because we see, all right, look on the screen, you see the version of Hazy's that I'm playing. Let's talk about this version for a minute. So this is Fire Fist Hazy's. Okay, I'm going to tell you multiple things that I do not like about this real quick. If you guys don't just want me to shut up and you're not interested, tell me and I will. But I have strong feelings about this, so I'm going to share them now. First of all, I don't like Cerberius, and I think the only reason Cerberius is in the deck is because of Goka. Secondly, I don't like Goka. The reason why I don't like Goka is because right now, in this metagame, you just need to win as quickly as possible. Like, we're in a very fast metagame right now. And if you're playing Hazy's, the idea is that as quickly as possible, you want to flood the board, overwhelm your opponent, win the game, end it. So what Goka does, and the reason why people run it, is because if you special summon it, so like you can normal summon Cerberius for no tribute, right? You special summon Goka, you destroy Cerberius, which allows you to bring a Hazy card to your hand, and then Goka creates a token on your standby. You can, destroy stuff. You can also use it with Raven, which will get you one of your Fire Formation cards. So that's how people use Goka. The thing is that Goka, when you summon it, does not change the number of monsters that's on your field. Because you have your fire monster, you special summon Goka, now you have 2 monsters, but Goka destroys your fire monster, now you're down to 1 monster again. Which means that if you already normal summoned that turn, you can't special summon Goka and then tribute for Paraton. It doesn't work because you already normal summoned that turn. And if you already have the monster on your field, then you could have just tributed it for Paraton. If you had it from a previous turn, you didn't normal summon it that turn. I know I'm talking quickly, it's the way I do things. So Goka does not change the number of monsters that are on your field on the turn that you summon it. Therefore, to me, it is too slow. So that's number 1. Number 2, Cerberius sucks. In a nutshell, it's too slow for this meta. Yes, exactly. Cerberius sucks in this deck. I don't know what it's doing here. Honestly, I don't know. You want to destroy it again with Goka, and I think that's the only reason he's running these cards is because he's running them together. You take one out, you can take the other out. So there's problem number 2, Cerberius sucks. Problem number 3, there are 5 spells in this deck. There is literally no reason for that. So with this version, you're not using Aroma Strategy, you're using Beatdown, so you don't know for sure what's on top of your deck. So you're running mostly monsters, but there's still some spells in your deck. Now, Raven can search out 1, maybe 2, depending how long the game goes, okay? But you're running 2 Tensus, which is very dumb. There's no reason. You run exactly 1 Tensu. You could run 2 Gyokus, because Gyoku is a great card, especially in this meta right now. But 2 Tensus is pointless. In fact, I've seen a list that runs no Tensus. I think that's a mistake. You run the Tensu for one reason and one reason only. You run it for when you need to activate Raven's effect, but your opponent has no back row, so Gyoku can't be activated. Because you will sometimes need the Fire Formation card face up, either to get the extra normal summon, or just so you can summon Coyote here, because he needs a face up Fire Formation card. You do never run 2 Tensus. That is terrible. Tensu is literally only when my opponent has no back row, so I can't Gyoku, but I need a Fire Formation card. That's it. So 2 Tensus is terrible. And now you're running 5 spells, right? Now I ran a version with 3 spells, which was 1 Gyoku, 1 Tensu, 1 Mausoleum of the Emperor. And even there, I know I am unluckier than the average person with the spell being on top of my deck, but even there, even on a small sample size, I flipped up a spell off of Sphinx's effect multiple times with 3 spells in the deck. Now consider that you have 5 spells and literally 1/4 of your deck is spells, and you need Sphinx's effect to go off. Like, when Sphinx's effect misses, it's terrible. It literally can often be the difference between you winning and losing the game. It's often if Sphinx hits, I win. If she misses, I lose. That is frequent. That is a common occurrence. And when you have literally 1/4 of your deck as the wrong card type, you are asking for problems. Deck criticizing 101 with JDG, which is one only JDG. Well, alright, to be fair, now JDG is for Judgment Gaming. I am Justice, but yes. This is deck criticizing 101. But I think it's important because I think that deck construction is an often overlooked aspect of any card game, whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Hearthstone or Magic or whatever you play. Deck construction is super important, and these are things you have to think about. Now, yeah, sometimes you can just net deck and whatever, but even when you're net decking, you have to understand like why the deck is constructed the way that it is, because that will change the way that you play it. If you completely understand why a deck is constructed the way it is, you and someone else who is just net decking and saying, all right, I know this deck is good, people have discussed it, I'm just going to play it, you're going to have a lot more success than they will, because you understand why certain cards are in there, what the tech is, what the interactions are, why these choices were made. So yeah, it's something that I feel strongly about, because especially when I played... So we're going to give a little background now, as long as you guys are not minding me ranting. So again, as you probably know by now, I played the TCG, the physical TCG, a long time ago, but I played for a long time. One of the things that I enjoyed most about the physical card game was deck construction itself. Like, that was honestly one of the things I probably enjoyed deck construction more than I actually enjoyed playing the game, even though I did love playing the game. The deck construction part of it was what I honestly found most fascinating. Especially with like a 40 card deck, which is what you had in the TCG. There were so many options, there were so many things. Like, yeah, you had, your staples, the things that pretty much every deck was running, but there were so many different options and so many different ways you could go, that even changing out 2 or 3 cards could suddenly change the way the deck functions. Like, as an example, with my Hazy deck that I'm playing right now, I changed out 4 cards. Now, this was not me. I give credit where credit is due. Credit is due to YT Dan on YouTube, because he's the one that put both the old version and the new version together, so I'm not taking credit for it. But you have to understand the difference. So the old version, his original version of all Monster Hazies, ran 3 Commushromo and 3 Martial Leaves. The idea was that Commushromo gave you a good turn 1 play. It was a 2,000 defense monster. Plus, if it excavated either another Commushromo or Martial Leaf, it blows up your opponent's field, so that you can afford to not be running, say, Gyoku, for example. You can just blow up their back row, or blow up their monsters, so that you're not as afraid of what they have, and then you can just rush in with your Hazies for game. Good idea. The problem was, and what I found the issue was that oftentimes if you drew Martial Leaf, it was terrible. You never wanted that card in your hand. You wanted to excavate it with Commushromo, but drawing a Martial Leaf was often like drawing a blank card that had no text on it. It was absolutely terrible. So he came up with this new version. Actually, he came up with a few different versions. This is the one that I personally like the best. It's only 4 cards difference. But you take out the 3 Martial Leafs and 1 Commushromo. You add in the 2 Amaryllis and the 2 Red Dragon Ninja. So now you're only running 2 Commushromo because 3 is overkill. But you're running the 2, and it can still excavate a plant with Amaryllis. Amaryllis is great because you get you don't need a special summoner when you have it in your graveyard. So if you're like, oh my god, I could go off, but I just don't have a special summoner, you can use the Amaryllis, which is fantastic. Also, if you draw Amaryllis, it's not as bad as drawing a Martial Leaf. Yeah, you're just going to set it and wait for them to attack it, and then it's in the graveyard, and then you can use it. The thing is, when you draw a Martial Leaf, you just set it just for protection. That's all it is just to try to block an attack. So it does nothing. But Amaryllis is protecting you from an attack, but also does something when it's in your graveyard, so it's a more useful card. And also in our last duel, we saw how good Red Dragon Ninja can be. Because we're running the Earth Armor Ninjas because I don't have Berlineths, which are probably usually better since they're fire monsters. But I don't have them, and they're currently unavailable in the game since they were only from the selection box and I didn't get any. So I'm using Earth Armor Ninjas. But now, Red Dragon Ninja can take advantage of Earth Armor Ninja's effect. So if they only have a set monster, you can just get it off the field. Or if they have that back row, again, remember, they can't activate the card that you select with Red Dragon Ninja's effect in response. So if I say, I want to see this card, and I'm going to decide whether to put it on the top or bottom of your deck, you can't activate it in response. So either it's a card that I really don't want you to have, so I'll put it on the bottom of the deck, or it's a card that I don't care about, so I'll put it on the top of the deck, which means that I waste your next draw phase. Either way, it's fantastic. So it's taking advantage of that synergy. So we only changed out 4 cards from the old version of All Monster Hazies to this new version, but the deck is much more consistent because of it. Because now, before, if you drew Martial Leaf, it was awful. Now drawing a Amaryllis isn't the best, but at least if you set it and they destroy it, it can do something for you, whereas Martial Leaf never did. And the Red Dragon Ninjas are awesome. They are fire monsters, which is beautiful. So they're just another level 6 monster you can summon off of Sphinx, which of course works with your beatdown. And also, when you do have an Earth Armor Ninja in the graveyard, the effect of Red Dragon Ninja is actually really strong right now. It's actually a really big deal. So we only change out 4 cards, but the deck gains a lot of consistency by doing so. So that is really the point of this whole rant, and why when I'm looking at this deck, I'm like having an aneurysm, because it's terrible deck construction. 2 Gyokus, okay. I only ran 1, but if you want to run 2, that's fine. But the 2 Tensus is just so bad. You're horribly lowering the consistency of your deck for no real gain. Again, you only need 1 Tensu. 2 doesn't do anything for you, and it's just making it more likely that your Sphinx misses, and that you can often just lose the game on the spot because of it. So that was it. That was my rant. I just wanted to see this dude's deck real quick because the game didn't connect, and I ended up going off on all of that. But that is Justice's rant on deck construction and the importance of understanding why you're putting in what you're putting into your deck and what it's supposed to do, and just thinking ahead, really, and not just saying, "Hey, this card seems good. I'm going to put a couple in my deck." So that's it. I hope you all enjoyed.